So somehow I got the sacral energy coming up here on YouTube, which is super fun. Hello and welcome, YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So beautiful to have you here and back. We are on our third interview. All right. Okay, so welcome back. We are doing, if you're just listening, this is your first interview today. We have 2 more interviews that we already did today. You can check out, make sure to reach out. They'll be up for 72 hours. If you want replays of them, go ahead and join us. For more, you can check us out at yourownuniversity.com or lishaantica.com, either or. And I will also put links so you can get that VIP package here if you'd like. So our next speaker is a PhD. She went and mentored me a bit at Gateway University. I'm really excited. We're going to keep to the topic of the voice because expression in business is so important. And for many of us, we get blocked in this expression. One thing that we teach at Your Own University within our training programs is a course called Empire Builder. And in Empire Builder, I help my students really write books, put together their own programs, and create their speeches. And oftentimes, that's when your trauma, that's when your drama comes up. And those blocks of like, well, what if I say that and I get judged? What if I do this and I get judged? What if I reach out to that client and they don't do anything? For me, I'm so open to people having freedom of choice because that's part of my gifts in therapy is teaching people how to have choice, that I forgot to do follow-up calls for years. It kept me working 5 jobs and this business. It kept me going to school and it kept me seeking, only because I didn't know how to ask. I didn't know how to ask. I didn't know how to say, look, I believe in you and I see you and this is the value. And I didn't know how to change the vibration because in some way my throat was locked down. So at Your Own University, we teach a lot about the voice. If you choose to go through the Holistic Coaching Certification Program with us, you are going to be learning about this. And then you might go, oh man, I want to take this further. I want to take this deeper. I want to learn from somebody else. And I want to give you some examples. Now, if you're at this place in your business already and say you have your programs, you have your talk, you have this, and you want to go further, you might have a resonance with Jan or maybe with Christine or maybe with the other Christine West about emotional intelligence. You'll hopefully be able to find your blocks, your limitations, your next step here in this summit, and reach out to that person and say yes. Say yes, say yes, say yes. So I'm really excited about our next guest. We have about 10 minutes, so go ahead and get some water, go to the bathroom, come back. One cool thing about doing this on YouTube is I get to, I don't have to remix it, which I never thought about before. And I get to share it on Facebook too. I wish I could share it on TikTok. That would just make my heart super happy. Because for me, TikTok is where it's at. So if you're not following me on TikTok and you think that maybe some trauma is blocking you, maybe you having that trauma express as physical illness, because that's where it expresses. Maybe you have it expressing as a mental illness, because that's where it expresses. Maybe you're having trauma continuously show up in your life, maybe through money stuff, which we're going to clear and talk about later on today, maybe about speaking and holding you back from putting your work out into the world. maybe in your relationships and not setting proper boundaries. If that's something you want to heal, inner childhood trauma, my personal business, I have two. So my personal business, my personal calling helps people walk through that. And all of that I take into this training. So you're going to learn in the Holistic Coaching Certification Program, you are going to learn how to utilize your gifts and know how to help people be their healthiest self, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We haven't talked too much about the esoteric, but Christine was just talking about it a little bit, as well as how to set those boundaries in relationships, be in relationships, stand in that relationship, and also how to step into your purpose. So we talk about all of that in the Holistic Coaching Certification Program. And part of my program is actually experiencing it. When I did my first coaching programs, learning how to be a coach was actually in nutrition. And hold on, my daughter just dropped something. I feel bad. In nutrition, I didn't know that all their other stuff was going to come up. Okay, I didn't know that all the other things were going to come up, because how we do one thing presents in every other area of our life. So you might want to get fit and healthy, but you might have an emotional issue that's coming up that's blocking you from actually releasing the weight. And emotional issues are mainly hormonal. So they might present as a hormonal imbalance, but it's really an emotional thing that gets to heal. The good news is once you see it, you release it. The other thing that didn't happen is I didn't get nutritional counseling, which was kind of a good thing in that training, but I didn't get to be coached. And so one thing in this training is you get to be coached, and you get to be coached in the system that you're going to learn how to coach in as a holistic coach. And this is something unique to your own university and our certification programs, is you're actually going to experience it so you can walk away having your authentic voice, knowing how to look at your emotional intelligence and what I call your baseline intelligence, your own roadmap of how you feel, where your body goes, the stories that you tell to yourself, and what happens there. And that's all going to happen. So that is where we're going today, and I'm super excited that you are here. Okay, so I have Jan's up on YouTube. Hopefully people are joining on YouTube. I have it up on Facebook. Hopefully you're joining on Facebook, and Jan should be here any moment. They seem to be popping on right at the hour, so I'm super, super excited to get started and learn more about authenticity and voice and frequency. Yay! So if you haven't connected with me yet, please do. You can reach out on YouTube. You can reach out on Facebook. You can reach out on TikTok. You can reach out to me personally, info@lishaantica.com. If you have any questions about the training programs at your own university, I would love to answer them. We have multiple training programs there so far. We have a training program on training about you. It is simply you matter. You go through our Amazing You system to know you, step into you, be your own authority. This creates health. I honestly believe I'd be dead without it. And I know other people have told me they think that they would have been too. So you get to walk through that over the year. You get daily tips. You get master classes. Some of the people in the master classes are here. You get some great bonuses. So that's the basic and kind of the beginning. And then we have the certification to be a holistic coach. This is a trauma-informed holistic coach training. You move through your 6 personal power zones so you can be a nutrition coach at the end of it and a body coach at the end of it. You can specialize in mindset and mindfulness. You can specialize in emotional intelligence if you choose to. You can specialize in being a manifesting coach. You can specialize in being a relationship coach or mentor, and you can specialize in being a business coach, or you can do it all like I choose to do. Because when treating trauma, when treating these life issues, you really need to know how to coach in each and every one of those areas. We also have the yoga teacher training there. That's a 200 and 500-hour yoga teacher training with Yoga Alliance in the Twist Yoga method. This is for somatic healing, and also you get trained in the 5 hottest yoga.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Whoa. Yoga methods that you can teach in any studio. And then we have NERI, Neural Emotional Reflex Integration. This is for chiropractors, people that are wanting to really help their clients through touch and reset their nervous system. This is really big in society. So resetting your nervous system, getting them back on track so they have a baseline, so all the work that they've already done works. All right, Jan's here, and let's invite her in and say hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, we're going to unmute and ask to start video. I am so excited. Hello.
Let's make sure everything looks good.
You look great.
Good.
You look great. I am so excited for this conversation. We just had another great conversation really leading into this, which is about voice.
Oh, yes.
And so I think this is just perfect because I was just telling everybody about you a bit. So this is Jan Jorgensen, and she is an RN, a PhD, a PHN, a CMP. And if I pronounced your last name wrong, I'm sorry. But what I was sharing earlier is that we're going to really talk about the human voice and the megaphone.
Yes.
And the vibrational patterns that can really change your life. So we're going to utilize and learn how to utilize the voice. She's a certified music practitioner. She's a minister. Like I said, she was one person that really guided me and helped me there at Gateway University as I was going through my own PhD. She's a radio host. She's also done all the things, facilitator of the SOAR template. And I mean, you've just done so much. I can go on and on and on. One thing that I really love about you and why I was so thrilled that you said yes to participating in this event is that you have a way of communicating that is non-intrusive and gentle, yet gets your point across to it like a blade of yes, that I respect so much. And I think in business, right? In business, we need to be able to do that, to inspire people, especially if we want to be an advocate or in change, where we're changing the system, a protocol. We need to be able to get our point across. We need to be able to do that without being, there's so much masculine, like defensiveness, or I don't know how to say, do you know the word I'm looking for? But it's like, this is how it is, where you're saying this is how it is, but in a way, and you guys will know as soon as she opens her mouth, I just saw a rainbow on top of, I'm going to cry. I just saw a rainbow on top of my computer. There's no reason.
That's my symbol, the rainbow, harmonic frequencies. We're doing it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. That was wild. I did not know that, you guys. That was wild. That is beautiful. All right, Jan, so let's dive in. I want to know what inspired you to help people tap into this frequency. I mean, you've done so much with your work. What's your story? What was the beginning? What was the calling on your heart to help people with their voice?
I grew up in a family of 10, so it was hard to get a word in edgewise. I had beautiful, popular sisters, and they'd sit around the table. They were a little bit older, and I felt like there was no place for my voice at the table. And sometimes I thought they talked about dumb stuff. And so I developed also, one day my dad got really mad at me. I almost drank. It was in a mason jar, and it was battery acid, but it looked like Coca-Cola to me. So I went to drink it, and his face turned red, and there was a rage. So I felt like my voice didn't have a place at the women's table, and I was afraid of authority men. So think about it. Where was my voice in all that? I was very sensitive, as you know, it calls empaths now, and I just was really afraid to speak up. And I knew I wanted to because I felt sometimes I had a better answer than they were coming up with, but I didn't know how to get in. And I didn't even identify it. I'm a registered nurse. It wasn't until I was in nursing school that I began to study what anxiety is and what it's caused by. And one of my wonderful teachers said, well, Jan, you have a lot of anxiety. No one had ever told me. I was in my 20s. So then I knew what I was working with, and I could study it, and I could see that formative wounding experiences caused me not to feel safe in my body and to speak up or to authoritative males or to feel like I had a place at the table with women. So I kept, it was just like my holy grail. And to be honest, it wasn't until my 50s and 60s that I began to say, I am so tired of this. And I realized I had never had a fearless state in my entire life until this moment. I actually, you wonder why I would want to have been a professional singer. It was that drive to share what was in me. And I took voice lessons, and I had a beautiful voice, but I never knew if I was going to fall apart. You know, that feeling like, you know, the sweaty palms and the knees. But I felt like if I just kept doing it, and sometimes that was true, but sometimes if the stakes were high, um, I would feel like a failure over and over. I knew I had to crack the code. So I'll tell you what happened. I was doing music. I was a nurse, a singer, and my kids were little. And I said, well, what should I do now? And someone said, well, why don't you go sing at the bedside of dying patients? So I became a certified music practitioner, which meant I observed a person letting go of their physical body. And I would sing, but I learned being a certified music practitioner, you don't sing songs or words that keep them in their body. So I began just singing, improvising, and the notes were like falling from heaven. And as they came through and I sang, I watched the patient let go of stress and relax. And I could just see some sense, almost like they were accessing the vibration of heaven, like I'd created a bridge. But what happened for me, I would be in a state of grace, like I had unzipped my regular human neurobiology chemistry, and there I was. I felt like I was floating, and I realized it's the first time I had been in a state of no fear my entire life. And I said, I don't know what it is, but I want to feel this all the time, and I'm going to crack the code and teach other people how to not be in fear. And I said, if I can help someone move away from the fear of dying, what is the greater fear we have? The fear of public speaking.
Speaking, yeah.
Right, saying what we really think. I see you're identifying with me, and I know a lot of women are going like this. So I started studying at the Sound and Consciousness Institute, the foremost sound healing place. And I was able to look at my vocal profile, the frequencies. If I put you on my voice bio machine, Lisha, right now, I could read out to you how much fear you have, how much decompensation you have in your adrenals for all that fear. In your
Oh, I
thoughts,
need that. I want to know.
tell you how your the energy here has become a physical manifestation, is exhausting you. exhausting you. And that's a lot of women want thyroid and else. So I knew I was onto something because the voice bio could show me 26 parameters of a person becoming decompensated. But I really wanted to focus on speaking up and fear and anxiety. So when you are in fear, you have very high F sharp in your voice. And this is why it's important for a woman attracting a partner, looking for business collaborators, fundraisers, anything. If I have a high F sharp in my voice, people around me will be on edge and they won't trust me and they won't want to come into co-creation with me because that F sharp signals that I don't trust my own self. So what happened was I came out of my marriage when I had that epiphany and wanted to learn to be out of fear. Why? People can control you. If they feel you're afraid, they dance in, and this is what happens. I had a very high F sharp. High F sharp. I attracted a partner who had a low F sharp. When we came together, he would get more energy and my anxiety would reduce. I was attracting low F sharp beloveds, men who have squandered all their energy, tend to be a little narcissistic and selfish. And after the love bombing, after a while, you see who they really are. And you get clients who want to use you and who don't really give you. So you can see how important understanding your vocal profile. But I'll tell you, if you know you have fear, your F sharp's high. So there's some simple ways to get that F sharp down if you don't want to keep attracting Mr. Wrong or not being successful at your business, or honestly having a profile with a high F sharp robs your thyroid. You're going to be low energy. Anything in your vocal profile is like a Rob Peter pay Paul. If you have sharps high, your thyroid's low. So I took this information and I started.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. I did not know that this existed. I don't know how I missed this with you, Jan. I did not know that this existed. Two, I've been doing, my mom's listening. We've been doing sound healing forever, like sound healing and singing over people and speaking in tongues. Like all of that is part of my magic. And so this is really important. And that dynamic. And I know what it's like not to ever have experienced a place of not being in fear, right? Like I have just recently had that epiphany in myself, never knowing. And what you're talking about in business is like, oh, so I'm like, this is so amazing that we can shift that, and then we can hook ourselves up and have it analyzed to know for sure. That is just amazing.
You can relax into feeling and receiving rather than being on guard and monitoring everything for safety all the time. See the difference?
So that's amazing. Okay, I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Are you listening? Are you excited?
Your voice is not this little voice box. Your voice is your megaphone for all parts of yourself, and not just your liver, your chest, your physical body, and any imbalances are radiated out, but your past. When you speak, everyone can see the movie and they can see your disappointments, your expectations, what you will put up with. And that's why your voice is your calling card to the world. What you put out in your voice profile, if it is truncated or constricted, you won't be attracting the full Monty, wonderful, beloved partner that you seek, but you don't even know why you're not attracting them, because your voice profile is pushing away what you want and you don't know why. It's unconscious. So what I did was I asked Spirit, I said, okay, So I can see a woman's anxiety, and I can see the physical deterioration. So next, I was introduced to Don Estes by his modality called the portical. And you speak into it, and in real time, I see the harmonic movement of the color of my voice, of my voice. And I swear to God, it's symmetrical and it's gorgeous, but you can read a person's consciousness from the voice. And so then I had both parts. I can see fear, I can see consciousness. If I put a woman on the portical, that is an apparatus, and I can measure for a woman mentally, physically, and emotionally how out of alignment she is with the words and the message she's trying to get across. So you can't be.
How powerful that would be for business to see why your marketing is not landing, or why people are misunderstanding you, and you're saying one thing and they're interpreting something else.
In miscommunication, whereas in this program, it actually mitigates through binaural frequency. We have the technology now to assist us, to help us repatterning the trauma frequencies through sound, through instruments, and come into a place of coherency. And then you reach what's called 100% dominancy. And when I first went on, he said, Jan, you're only using 30% of your power through your voice. That means 70% was not believable, trustworthy, and not operationalized. So doing the next big step, I said, Spirit, okay, I see. Everything's the voice. I said, now that I know what I know, how can we shift and get it out of the body, the unconscious part? So I prayed and prayed. An archangel showed me very simply to sit across from another human, have them think about, oh, well, my mom never let me talk. My mom was bossy. My mom didn't create a space. If I did talk, she put soap on my mouth. My clients tell me things like this. They come to me to release their voice. So I say, think about that. Think about it. Breathe into it. Don't think about anything else but the agony and the feeling of being marginalized and invisible and controlled. And then they sound on one vowel like, oh. And within that vocal pattern, if we was doing a PowerPoint today, I could show you your vocal pattern. I can show you the snowflake that your voice made. Then I face them. Here comes their voice pattern with this part, and I don't sing a perfect harmonic pattern. I match my voice, and this is the magic part. If you're a healer, empath, you can do it. Match their voice. Match their voice. And it is the first time that 3 or 4-year-old has, because we protect our pains and our wounds, we keep them down there, and they inform us, and they create our avoidance systems. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
aimed by her
Don't
mother.
talk about it. Don't say anything.
I'm vibrating. I'm like jets right down into it, and they're like, oh, and they sound it out. So that Ph.D. in last year, ta-da, it's called voice release, and it's a very simple somatic back and forth toning, and I do it on Zoom or I do it in groups. But maybe the voice release isn't for everybody, and you'll have my contact. You can always call me. But I came up with some ideas of how you can lower that F in your voice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
These are some basic ideas. Number one, drink a lot of water. Your system needs a lot of water. Get big muscle exercise, because that raises the other frequencies in your body, and it brings down that sharp. Release the tension. Big
It's like
muscle.
lifting weights, literally?
Swimming, running. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Because in our society, think about it. In ancient times, those women had to carry water in their head. The men had to log. They would get to the point of what I call relaxation response. We don't have that. We're in modern society. We don't exert to the point where we're like, oh my God, I feel so good. I really exercise. No, our lives are so push your muscles to get to that relaxation response where you just lay there. And that takes you out of that stress zone. The stress just holds us like an electric grid, and one thought will light up that grid, and your adrenals go until your adrenals are exhausted. Deep breathing. Everything is big now about vagal response. All you have to breathe so deep that your belly is down deep. Breathe deep, cough, vagal response. The downward pressure of straining, like take a deep breath and push down. Raining down. I do.
And then cough at the same time. Like these are just new. I do vagal release with clients and on TikTok like every day because it changed everything in my practice. But you're giving me new ones. So can we do a couple of those? I think it's important everybody do them. Let's try it out, guys.
And now I'll tell you what's important. When you're doing that deep breath, don't be thinking for anybody. You are thinking about yourself, and I'll give you a picture. Take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. You see how my voice commanded my body to pay attention, and I slowed down. This is the voice that people lean into, and it doesn't have to be loud at all, but it's focused. Breath through your nose and out through your mouth. Imagine that your crown chakra is opening and it's accessing rejuvenating frequencies, bathing your head, your neck, and your shoulders. So take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. And notice how you have simply used your creative imagination and given your body a simple command for a beautiful bath of healing frequencies. And this can override all those little sparking thoughts and worries. Higher vibrations always manage the lower vibrations. So the more self-care, vagal work, and breathing, it takes your brain into that beautiful non-beta flight and fright state. So
I'm already like
adding off here going, I feel it. Or you speak. Sometimes we speak, especially if our F sharp is high, from an Achilles heel reflex restricted place. Before you think, stop. Take a breath. Choose what you want to create with your communication. Did you know words are only 10%? 90% is your intention behind it. So if your intention is to say something real quick, to give information, to show how smart you are, or to blah, blah, that's going to come across.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a breath and you think, what a great opportunity to share my thoughts with this interesting individual, and I am going to drop into my authentic, calm space and share, not from my F sharp, but from my harmonic, full, authentic profile. Their body is a vibrational being. They will drop their armor. They will disarm when you speak in this way. But the high F sharp, their hackles are up, their gun is up, and their protection. See why it's important to relax and choose our thoughts and get grounded. I happen to know that the new leaders that are merging our hope for this planet to be safe is for kind, loving people to come out of fear. And that's what these tools are, for us to feel comfortable speaking our truth, even in boardrooms. And I'm going to tell you, 10 feet away, just stepped. I'm in a 9,000 square foot beautiful center today that was created for the great minds of the planet to convene. And I facilitated a meeting for a media platform. I can't say I was totally relaxed, but I certainly used all of my skills every moment, because it was a big stretch, because I personally chose to step into a platform of media and tech heads, university presidents, where the best would come out, and I would see where my fears or my issues still were. So we want to be our best selves. So wherever you're starting, you'll know where you're at, because you'll know what you're creating.
Yeah.
What type of do you have? The person who developed the voice bio went through 5 partners, and he tracked his voice all along the way. And he attracted codependent partners based on his voice vibration. He did his inner child work. He exercised. He did all he could do. And when his voice harmonic was full, all the colors filled in. There's actual bars, and they were balanced. He wasn't attracting someone else for the piano notes he was missing in his own voice, and he met a partner. So we want the perfect us, the perfect co-creators. We don't want to walk to our old age. There was a couple one time I met, and he had a very high F sharp because he had very high blood pressure, heart failure. And so his wife automatically lowered her A sharp, and her heart energy was very, very low. That's what we do when we come into someone else's field. So we want to have our own vocal profile be vibrant and full. And when we feel it isn't, we simply take a deep breath. We ask and intend that we be grounded in our body. We imagine that F sharp coming down, and we do our best. And also, it's a great
So
way.
how can we know if we have, I mean, obviously we have the external stuff, but how can we test or hear the F sharp? Like, I'm sure I got the F sharp going on, but I don't hear it. And I don't really know when I don't have it going on. So how do we learn that? How would we learn that from you?
The F sharp is like training wheels, and I show it to people. But the litmus test is, when you're with other people, do you feel safe? Do you feel grounded? Because obviously that person isn't a mugger, because they're in your life. But if you're not feeling really safe and full and grounded, and your voice is dropped in, and you're not laughing or speaking in a high voice, your emotions will tell you. And it's hard to know if you've been emotional your whole life and you can't even look back and say. So that's where talking to a therapist, someone who has the wisdom. And I actually had that nursing instructor tell me, she says, Jan, you're so anxious. And I took it in. And I had a patient one time tell me, Jan, why are you so anxious? And I'm so glad they told me that, because that's before I really understand this pattern of fear. And what happens, the fear can become depression because no action. So I tell people, get into some sort of talking group, actually better than a one-on-one therapist. If you want to practice speaking up, go to a group. There's all sorts of groups. There's groups for everything. And a group that is specifically for sharing groups of abused people. My father was an alcoholic, so I went to, I guess, Al-Anon, and people stories, just where you get practice talking about deep emotional things, because as you're talking about them, you're releasing them. And then when you're talking to people about non-emotional things, you don't have that baggage anymore. So, it's called the work. And and we all have stuff. We all have stuff. It's our journey. And the beauty of it is we need each other to keep using Windex and the paper towels to get more light in and be the brilliant. So it's interesting. So Lisha, you didn't know what voice release was or what I do, but we know each other. And we were in.
And I read pieces of it, and I knew, but I had no idea about the spectrum or what, that you could read the voice. Like, I knew what you did, but I didn't know that you could, like, there's an actual machine that can say, this is the reading of the voice, and this is why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, and this is how we can do voice training in order to help release this stuff. And I think, especially when, for my personal work, when I work with people that are in cycles of abuse, right? Now, this summit's not about that, but in cycles of abuse, I think it would be really powerful, because they go, well, why do I keep I've done all this healing, I've done all this stuff, why do I keep attracting this? And it could be as simple as learning how to just talk in a different tone.
Yes, or sound it out, sound your feelings out. It really,
sound it out, doing your work.
When I do voice release in groups, it's very powerful. And I've had women who, wouldn't let their husbands touch them and went on to have a baby. I mean, that profound. It's very powerful. So one of the vehicles I use is the Queen's Caravan Spiritual Walkabout Tour, and I have a little red van, and I visit communities, and I will be visiting communities, and I have circles of women, and that's that I visit in venues, homes, churches, centers, and I offer that voice release is one of the programs I can offer. If they
Beautiful. So how would somebody get a hold of you to possibly see if they're in the area that you're going to be at, or bring you to their area?
Good question. You can email me. My email is, I'll give you my personal one, Jan, Jan, SARA, and then Jorgensen @gmail.com. And you can email me or go to my website, and I'll be posting, if I'm doing 50.
Oh, we just froze. Here is the tech stuff that happens so naturally when we're live. But hopefully we'll come back. Okay.
Right.
So Jan, it cut out right after you gave your email, Jan Sarah Jorgensen, JanSarah Jorgensen @gmail.com. And then you were saying the 50, and it cut out. So will you start there, the 50?
50? I forgot. What was that related to? Well, how about my news? I'll tell you my
newsletter.
Oh, I'm doing 15 events, right?
15. Okay.
I'm not doing 50. 15, and you're welcome to come to one of those events or invite me into your home, center, church, or community. My website is soundandlighthealingarts.com. soundandlighthealingarts.com. And so just look up the Queen's Caravan there, and I'll have the full schedule within a week, because I'm just dialing in some wonderful things in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have a lot of people I love to see in all these different areas, but we love for you to join us too. Now, we may not be doing voice release. We're doing different things because I have a buffet. People can choose at the event venue a sound journey using sound, light, frequencies, voice release, or painting. I also do therapeutic painting.
Some art painting. Beautiful. I learned so much. Anybody, it's now open for questions for Jan, and we have a few more minutes. If you have questions, type them into our chat or type them into our YouTube. YouTube's a little bit lagging. It's a little bit behind. So we got to wait on that. This is just a whole new tool for me. My mind's actually just kind of blown because I love sound therapy. I love tonal work. I do a lot of frequency and vibrational tonal work. I think it's super healing for emotional intelligence to tie our first talk to our third talk. And it just moves things. And I've sang over people. I've sang over in multiple languages. I channel in that way. So this has just been a really big deal for me, but I've never heard of this or that matching. And I think that is, I can't wait to experience it. And I just love it. Do you guys have any questions, anything that is coming up for you before Jen goes back to her big meeting? You're still talking there on YouTube. Where is your base, and do you do Zoom groups?
I certainly could. I mean, I'm open to any creation. I'm pretty good on Zoom, and the energy is transmitted fine in the healing Zoom. I'm up here in Olympia, Washington, and Port Townsend, Washington. My office is downtown Wisconsin, Pacific Northwest.
Okay. Yeah. And do you ever go to Salt Lake?
Actually, I'm coming to Salt Lake City on May 4th. I think I'm going to do a circle there, which may or may not happen. So if you have a few friends and you want to contact me, I could do a voice release there. I'm going to be meeting with a voice expert there, and we haven't decided yet what will happen with us. But if you're interested in calling me in, I could certainly create something with your people. Great.
How about that?
I'm stopping there in the Queen's Caravan.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know this person is in the Salt Lake area, or close to the Salt Lake area, so I just asked for her. That would be cool. She was doing, like, I remember driving in the car, my mom would like do tonal work with us. Like, we've been doing tonal work and voice work forever. And so this is like next level, super, super exciting. And love it.
The voice is so healing. I actually teach courses in how to use your voice for healing too.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. So if this is something that you want to put in your toolbox, reach out to Jan and let her know. You'll be in Phoenix at that time? Oh, bummer.
Guess what? I'm going to be in Phoenix for a whole week, so I'd be happy to meet. I'll be in Phoenix and Sedona area May 24th through June 3rd. Oh no, I got confused. It's June 4th. June 4th I'll be in not May. I'll be gone all of May. It's June 4th. I'll be in Salt Lake City. Thanks for clarifying that.
Well, perfect. You guys can connect since they'll be both places. Something living in Alaska is like I'm never around anything. Kind of isolated up here, but that will change. That is changing. Anything else that you want to just leave us with and let us know about the voice or any tools that we can use to bring down that F sharp grounding intention is what I'm hearing. Anything else?
care
before
of
we
your,
sign off?
take really good care of your physical body, your mental health, and it's okay if you're different than other people. Don't let that hold you back, because we need the voices of people with different thoughts, different initiatives and visions, and we need the dreamers to step forward and say, what's happening isn't quite right, and here's another idea. And if we do it from that place of grounded, authentic kindness, like you said, a soft voice, but a strong backbone,
Mm-hmm.
the buy-in there that people will trust and they will listen, and that's how we can be change makers.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being on my
Thank
summit and
you, guys.
sharing and teaching and opening us up to this all new possibility. I love, love new modalities. I love things that bring it all together and just help it be easier. I really think that healing can be ease filled.
Yeah,
So it's
beautiful.
another ease filled way.
All right.
Okay. Have fun at your conference
I will.
and talk to you soon. Thank you for taking a break for us. All right, you guys. So what did you think about Jan? How amazing. Have you ever thought about utilizing your voice and saying, well, what is it? I mean, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm so excited about this new modality. I love learning about new modalities, which is one reason why at your own university we have so many modalities that I train the coaches in, because what works for one person, like I said at the beginning of this, what works for one person might not work for another. You might need another piece of the puzzle. And your speech patterns, your voice, the comfort in your body, and the shifts in you might be just why you're attracting that client, or why your message isn't landing, or why you're attracting that same old partner. And this one shift, this one awareness, because once we're aware of it, then we can shift it, might change for all of that. So if you want to do Jan's training, I might be in that training with you. We can get certified together. Absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. So thank you so much. We are going to have another little break. If you are on our Zoom call, stick around. We'll do some behind the scenes over here for those of you who have joined the talk. If you haven't and you want to join us tomorrow and the rest of the day on the Zoom and have this Q&A and back and forth in kind of a private area between calls, please do. The links are all around. I have them on my Facebook page. They're in my link tree. They're on my website, Celicia Antica and Your Own University. It is labeled Meant for More. Go ahead and register. And if you've gotten an invite from one of our speakers, please register through their invite and join us there. You'll be invited to be a VIP, where you'll also get invited to come and activate your strength, your power, your 6 personal power zones, find clarity, go through and activate on what might be blocking you in relationships, what might be blocking you in your purpose, and releasing those over 3 days in our Rediscovering Me online retreat. It is February. It is April 5th, 6th, and 7th, right where you're at right now in the comfort of your own home, but it is very interactive and very personal. And it is super healing, so you're going to get all of this. And we might even invite Jan back and see if she'll do a little toning retreat with us in the middle of that, because I think it would be fantastic. Let me know what you think about that. Please join us for the next talk at the top of the hour, where I will be interviewing. Who am I interviewing next? I am going to be talking about your power zones and stepping into that, and what it means to be a holistic coach, why holistic coaching is so valuable compared to going and being a typical coach or a life coach or a nutritionalist or a business coach or an energy coach or a mindset coach or a manifesting coach, and how it can save you tons of time. And then we're going to break out and come in is Tarek Bibi. And Tarek is one of my favorite people. He helped me go from being stuck at 5K months for years, just like stuck, like getting through, to consistent 10K months over a year ago. And he has really helped me to break through. And he's going to do some deep healing through all of this coming up at 1 o'clock Alaska time, so 2 o'clock Pacific time. And before that, I'm going to lead us into that by activating and doing an activation practice with your 6 personal power zones, why to be a holistic coach, and talking about this money block. When we're doing heart work, oftentimes we have money issues and money block, and Tarek and me have something super special to offer you around that you can get right now to break through money blocks, to heal issues with money and trauma, and sex and money, because sexuality and money go hand in hand. So if you're interested in all of this, stick around. I'll be back in about 15 minutes, and then Tarek will be here in about 45. Talk to you